I got something for Christmas. I got something for Christmas. I got the best all-around lens you can get for Sony right now. Yep, this is it. A Sigma 18-50 2.8 lens. I'm excited. I'm gonna show you all about it, and that's what's next. Man, I was looking for a go-to all-around, everything, get it done lens that I can slam on my camera, bring with me anywhere I go, get the pictures, the thumbnails, everything I need, and I found the Sigma 18-50 2.8 lens, and that was my Christmas present. Now I'm gonna start by saying I am on the Sony a6400, and this lens right here is the lens I'm going to be using on the a6400 to cover all of these things I previously said. But right now I'm using the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens. Yes, very soft depth of field, and yes, it's beautiful. But the problem with this lens is it's so wide that it actually warps images and really is not the best go-to all-around lens. But by adding this Sigma 18-50mm 2.8 lens, this is an all-around lens. Why? I'm gonna explain that to you right now. But when I put this on, which we're gonna do right now, this is the difference. Now yes, the background is not quite as soft because I'm shooting at a 2.8 aperture instead of a 1.8, but what it gives me is a little bit more depth, and it allows me to zoom in, which I could not do with the 16mm. So now when I zoom in like this, and then I can sit back in my chair and still get a head and shoulder shot, I'm no longer up in the camera, right in your face. I'm a little more set back. So now that you see this view, let's talk about video. So when you're doing video, this is how it will look at 50mm. That's how the natural eye sees the world, at 50mm approximately. And that will give you this natural look. It doesn't misshapen my head or misshapen the background. What it does is still gives you a soft background because we're zoomed out to 50mm. Maybe not quite as strong as the 1.8 or the 1.4 can do, but it still gives you a beautiful scene. You can get two views. You can get this tighter vision where you allow the viewer to focus on you instead of everything going on around you. Or if I zoom out and then sit forward a little bit at 18mm, you get this nice wide view, which is almost equivalent to the 16. It's off by 2mm, which is something, but not a lot. Not to mention, this lens is so much heavier than that lens. This probably weighs a pound. That probably weighs a half a pound. And it matters. It really matters over a day. But to have one lens with both options is just a massive bonus. And at $527 is what I believe it is on Amazon right now. And yes, this was a Christmas present. My parents are awesome. I got this lens, and this is going to be my go-to. But let's talk about this lens as a photography lens and for thumbnails. It's gonna allow you to take better pictures. And when you're walking around, you can zoom in a little bit to get some of the distractions out of the background. It'll allow you to take more natural pictures of people in their element or wherever you're going. For a long time on my Nikon cameras, I used a 2.8 like this, and I used it for everything because I knew I could use my feet and the zoom to get the shot I wanted and needed. So I want you to feel the difference as I hop from different angles and different shots, and just the more possibilities you can get out of this lens versus this 16mm. This is amazing for $350, and I still do recommend any vlogger or anybody that has a very tight space, this is my go-to lens. But for everything else I do, I really do believe that this 18-50 is the money lens. Sony sells another one that's a 2.8 that's approximately $1,200. So let me tell you how good of a deal this is versus the Sony. I can buy this Sigma lens, I can buy this Sony 50mm 1.8, and I can buy this Sigma 16mm 1.4, which gives me 3 lenses for less than the price of one. After all of that, I would still have $100 to go on a travel adventure. Now, as I travel and everything, I want to be able to travel with a smaller footprint. And when I bring my Sony a64, it'll be attached to my hip or in my bag. And now, honestly, with this, I can kind of get rid of both of these and just live with this 18-50. It's amazing how many shots I've gotten at 50mm with a 2.8. And when you focus on something like really close, you can see how soft at 2.8 my face and the background gets. Kind of a shout out to Sony for this amazing beast of a 6400 I have. But even with this lens, it's silent, it focuses, it's quiet. Now granted, some of that's in the body and some of that's in the lens, but all of it together just works out to be one amazing tool. So when I get out in public and I'm running around and I want to take detailed shots of something, I have always turned to a 2.8 mid-range zoom like this. Now I wanted to jump outside for a second. I threw it in fully automatic mode and I'm going to show you what this thing is capable of. This is 18 millimeters right here. So I'm at a full arm's length. Yes, I'm having to hold the camera out all the way, but this is a full arm's length and you can see what it looks like vlogging. But I wanted you to see it in action and then kind of sit down here and then do a slow zoom. That's my Mini Cooper, baby. And this is all you would need. I mean, you can get by. Well, the 16 millimeter would be a little bit wider, so it wouldn't be as kind of tight on me. But if you get used to this, it's pretty easy. I mean, you could do a million things. You're gonna have to figure out your own style and how you wanna do it and get used to where to look at in the lens to make sure you're making eye contact with you so me and you can get personal. But all of that with practice and experience will come to you. This is the next step I would tell everybody to take for 500 bucks. This is maybe the only lens you need to start. I'm gonna show you some of the pictures right now that I'm taking with this just to show you what it can do around the yard. And I'm just gonna randomly shoot some pictures. I don't know what I'm showing you right now, but I hope you're enjoying it. I've shot with these lenses so many times in my life. I know exactly what they're capable of and what you can get out of them if you practice with them enough. And it just takes practice, guys. Just go out, walk your yard and shoot every single interesting thing. Shoot close, shoot zoomed in, shoot zoomed out, shoot low, high, every angle you can think of. So when you grab this lens, what you do is you go out and you shoot everything you can, whatever you can find, I don't care. You're really gonna start to see the true capabilities and magic that this thing provides to you. And then you can actually use it on a video, and as you're going and talking through your videos, just stop for a second and then you can zoom in and just see how butter that background is. And I'm telling you, probably 80% of everything I've ever shot has been on a lens like this. And to have another one from my Sony is just so exciting. And I'm telling you, without a doubt, you will love this lens. And if you're gonna do YouTube and you wanted to know which two lenses I would personally recommend for everything YouTube, it would be this Sigma and this 16 millimeter for all of your vlogging, and if you're hand holding for about $350. And that's the only two lenses I would recommend if you were starting in vlogging. But if you're starting in photography, I would probably recommend this lens as your all-around, walk-around lens, and then pick up a Sony 50 millimeter to do really soft background, focus, tight focus. I think you would start your base very, very good. And they're not that expensive. Just my advice, just my thoughts, and I'm just really pumped up to have this. So I hope you enjoyed the pictures, the video, and all of this other stuff. Stick with me because life is going to be full of detours like getting this lens, little baby detour. Moving on to the next thing and finding out what's next.